Hello family, welcome to Legend Stories, where every story reveals a hidden truth and nothing stays buried forever. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share it with your friends and loved ones. As you do so, God bless you. Trust me, this story will leave you thinking. Sit back, relax, and let's dive in. The blood came fast, too fast. I was lying on the cold hospital bed, gripping the metal railing so hard my knuckles turned white. Pain tore through my lower body like something was being ripped out of me. I screamed, but no sound came. My throat was too dry, too tight. "Not again," the nurse whispered. She didn't think I could hear her, but I did. Not again. Those two words hit me harder than the pain, because she was right. This was the fifth time. 5 times I had come to this same hospital, this same ward, wearing the same thin gown. 5 times I had watched hope die between my legs. The room smelled like antiseptic and old fear. The ceiling light flickered once, then held steady. I turned my head slowly. The floor beside my bed was wet, dark red against the white tiles. And then I heard it. A voice, low and close. Not the nurse, not the doctor. Something else entirely. "This one belongs to us too." I whipped my head around. There was nobody there, just the curtain, swaying slightly, even though no window was open. My heart stopped for one full second. I opened my mouth and screamed for real this time. Nobody could find Emeka. The nurses checked the waiting room twice. Ngozi had called his number 6 times. Each call went straight to voicemail. His calm, recorded voice said, "Leave a message," as if the world was not falling apart. Ngozi stood near my door, arms folded tight. Her face was hard to read. I had known that face my whole life, and still I could not tell what she was feeling. "Where is he?" I asked weakly. "I don't know," she said. She didn't look at me. The doctor came in, asked questions, checked monitors. I answered on reflex. Part of me was still hearing that voice. "This one belongs to us too." The words looped like a broken record. And then I noticed something. Under my bed, near the leg of the metal frame, there was a dark stain on the floor. Not blood, darker than blood, almost black. I stared at it while the doctor talked. And then, slowly, impossibly, it moved. It spread, like ink dropped into still water. Slow, silent, deliberate. I grabbed the nurse's arm and pointed. She looked. She frowned. She looked at me with careful eyes. The kind people use when they think you are losing your mind. But I know what I saw. Let me take you back to the beginning. Back to when I still believed Emeka was a good man. I arrived at their house with one bag and a broken spirit. I had lost my job in Lagos. My landlord threw me out, and I had nowhere to go. Ngozi, my older sister, called me herself. "Come and stay with us," she said. "Your family." Their home was beautiful. A 3-bedroom house in a quiet estate, cream walls, and a garden Ngozi kept neat. Emeka was at the gate when the cab dropped me off. Tall, easy with a smile, the kind of man who made you feel welcome without trying. "Amara," he said, opening his arms. "Welcome home." Ngozi stood behind him, smiling, proud of her husband, proud of her home. That first week, she showed me everything. The kitchen, the spare room, the small shelf where she kept her Bible. "He is a good man," she told me one evening, watching Emeka in the yard. "God gave me a good man." I believed her. I had no reason not to. I was just grateful to have a roof. But I noticed how Emeka looked at me when Ngozi turned away. His eyes stayed just a moment too long. It started on a Thursday night. Ngozi was at her women's fellowship meeting, the one she never missed. I was in the sitting room trying to read when Emeka came and sat beside me. Not too close, just close enough. He asked how I was settling in. I said fine. He asked about Lagos. I told him everything. My voice cracked once. He moved closer, just to comfort me. I told myself, "You've been through a lot," he said softly. "You deserve better." His hand covered mine on the cushion. I looked down at it. I should have moved. He leaned in, slowly, giving me time to pull back. I didn't pull back. The kiss was gentle at first. Then it wasn't. By the time my mind caught up, it was too late to pretend it had not started. Afterwards, I sat on the far end of the couch, shaking. The guilt hit me like cold water. My sister, My own sister. But Emeka was calm. Too calm. "It won't happen again," he said, adjusting his shirt. We both knew that was a lie. From the hallway, I heard faint breathing. I checked. No one was there. But the feeling of being watched stayed with me all night. After that Thursday, the house changed. The air felt thicker. Emeka and I moved around each other carefully, like two people trying not to set off something fragile. But we kept finding each other. That is the truth I am not proud of. Stolen moments, quiet afternoons, hushed conversations that turned into something else. I hated myself every time, but I kept going back. Emeka was careful, almost too careful. "Nobody must ever know," he told me, his voice low. "Especially not Ngozi." "I know," I said. "Say it properly," he insisted. "Nobody will know," I repeated. He nodded. The way he looked at me made me feel less like a woman and more like a secret kept for a reason I didn't yet understand. I watched Ngozi cook for him, iron his shirts, laugh at his jokes. She trusted him. She trusted me. Every day I said nothing. Then one Sunday, Ngozi sat across from me at breakfast with a strange look. "I had the strangest dream," she said quietly. My hand froze around my cup. "A snake was living inside this house," she said, "sleeping under our feet." She looked straight at me as she said it. I forced a smile. "That's just a dream." She nodded, but her eyes did not let me go. I found out I was pregnant on a Wednesday morning in the second month of the affair. I sat on the edge of the bathtub, staring at the small white stick in my hands. 2 lines, clear and dark. There was no confusion about what they meant. My first feeling was terror, pure, cold terror. My second feeling, buried underneath it, was something I was ashamed of. A small, quiet hope. I told Emeka that evening when Ngozi went to buy groceries. He listened without speaking. His face did not change. He did not panic, did not comfort me, did not even blink more than usual. "We'll handle it," he said. That was all. "We'll handle it." I waited for more, for warmth, for something human. It didn't come. That night, I had a dream so vivid it felt like memory. I was standing in a dark field, and something was walking toward me. A shape, a shadow that moved like smoke but had weight behind it. It reached for me, and in my arms was a baby, tiny, breathing. The shadow reached into my arms and took the baby. I woke up gasping. I was bleeding. I pressed my hand to my stomach and cried without sound. My face turned into the pillow so nobody would hear. The hospital said it was stress, a very common early miscarriage, the doctor explained gently. She gave me a pamphlet. She said it happened to many women. She said I should rest and try to take things easy. I nodded. I took the pamphlet. I went home. Emeka heard the news without flinching. He nodded slowly and said, "These things happen." Then he went back to his newspaper. I wanted to throw something at him. Ngozi, who did not know the full story, was gentle with me. She assumed it was a pregnancy from someone I had been seeing before I arrived, a man I had never mentioned. She asked no hard questions. She made me tea and sat beside me for an hour without speaking. I felt sick with shame. Then, 3 days after I came home, I was making my bed when I saw it, just above my hip, near my side. A small mark on my skin, dark, slightly raised, shaped like no bruise I had ever seen. It was not there the week before. I pressed it gently. It did not hurt. It just sat there on my skin like a stamp, like something had claimed me. The second pregnancy came 4 months later. I do not know why I let it happen again. The only honest answer is that something in me had stopped thinking clearly around Emeka. He had a pull I couldn't explain. Like gravity. This time, the pregnancy went a week further before the dream returned. Same dark field, same shadow, same baby being taken from my arms. The shadow was clearer this time, taller, and it seemed pleased. I woke at 3 in the morning to the same familiar pain. Same hospital, same doctor, though she looked at me differently this time. Concern behind professional calmness. She ran more tests. Everything came back normal. My body showed no reason why I should be losing pregnancies. Sometimes, she said carefully, there are causes we cannot find with tests. What kind of causes? She shifted. Rest, eat well, reduce emotional stress. I went home. That night, in the room next to mine. I heard a baby crying, high and thin and real. I sat up in bed, completely awake. The sound was clear. I got up and checked. The room was empty. No baby, no sound, just silence and the smell of something old that I could not name. I stood in that doorway for a long time, afraid to move. After the second loss, I began paying attention in ways I hadn't before. I noticed that Emeka left the bedroom every night at exactly 1 a.m. I noticed because I had started sleeping badly, and the click of the door would wake me. I would lie still listening. He would return 30 to 40 minutes later, always quiet, always smelling faintly of something earthy and bitter. When I asked him once where he went, he said the kitchen. Water. I checked the kitchen the following morning. The glass was dry. Ngozi's behavior had also shifted. She was not unkind, but there was a coolness in her now when she looked at me. Small moments. She would change the topic when I entered a room. She stopped asking about my plans or my future. I told myself it was guilt making me paranoid. Then one afternoon, while making my bed, I felt something strange under the mattress. Thick, solid. I pulled up the mattress corner. There was a bundle wrapped in red cloth, tied with a rough string, pressed flat against the bed frame. It had been there long enough to leave a faint stain on the wood. My hands were trembling as I held it. I unwrapped the red cloth slowly, like it might bite me. Inside were things I had no name for. Symbols drawn on dried bark. A small clump of dark, dried blood. 3 small bones tied together with black thread. Something that smelled like pepper and rot, and something else entirely. I carried it straight to Emeka. I held it out in front of him, my voice barely working. "What is this?" I asked. He looked at it, then at me. Then he smiled. Not a warm smile. A patient one. Like I was a child who had found something I was not meant to find. "Where did you get that?" he asked calmly. "Under my mattress." He took it from me, turned it over in his hands. "It's nothing. Old thing. I'll get rid of it." "Emeka, Amara." His voice was quiet, but there was an edge under it like a blade wrapped in cloth. "Leave it alone." I stared at him. For 1 second, his eyes were not his own. Something behind them flickered, dark, amused. Then it was gone, and he was just Emeka again, walking to the kitchen. That night, I checked the bin. It was empty. The bundle was gone. Completely gone. The 3rd pregnancy, I kept to myself. I told no one. Not Emeka. Not Ngozi. I bought the test at a pharmacy 3 streets away and read it alone in a public bathroom with the door locked. When I saw the 2 lines, I pressed my hand over my mouth and breathed slowly. Not this time, I told myself. I will protect this one. I started praying for the first time in years. I ate carefully. I slept early. I avoided Emeka entirely, going to bed before he returned from wherever he disappeared each night. For 3 weeks, nothing happened. No dream. No pain. No shadow. I let myself feel hope. Then on a Tuesday evening, sitting near the window, the air changed. Cold. Sharp. Like a freezer door swinging open. I looked up slowly. Between the wardrobe and the wall stood a shape. Not a person. Tall. Dark. No clear edges. Like a shadow that had decided to stand up without needing a light source behind it. It was watching me. I could feel it even without seeing any eyes. I was not dreaming. Every part of me was awake and certain, and it was standing in my room like it had every right to be there. I could not move. I sat frozen, the book open in my lap, staring at the thing standing in the corner of my room. It did not come closer. It just stood there, breathing. I could hear it breathing. Slow, deliberate, heavy, like something very large trying to stay very still. Then I heard footsteps in the hallway. Emeka's footsteps, heavy and familiar. They stopped outside my door. The door did not open, but through the thin gap at the bottom, I saw the shadow of his feet. He was standing right there. And then he spoke. Not to me. To the thing in the corner. His voice was low, almost gentle, like he was talking to someone he knew well. I could not make out all the words, but I caught 2. Clear as anything. Not yet. The shape in the corner shifted, like it disagreed, like it was being patient against its will. Then Emeka's feet moved away from the door. His footsteps faded down the hall. Slowly, the shape in the corner dissolved. Not like it left, like it sank into the wall and became part of it. I sat there until morning with every light in the room switched on, the book crushed in my hands, not sleeping, not moving, watching the corner. I left the house before sunrise and walked until I reached the home of Mom and Kim. Everyone in the area knew her. She was old in the way that old people used to be, the kind of old that carries knowledge instead of just years. She had a small compound with a low fence and a mango tree at the entrance. She sold herbs and bitter roots from a tray near her gate. I knocked. She opened before I finished knocking. She looked at me without speaking, then stepped aside. I told her everything. The pregnancies, the dreams, the red cloth bundle, the shape in my corner, the voice in the hospital, the mark on my side. She listened without interrupting. She did not look surprised. She looked like someone hearing what they had been expecting. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she said carefully, "This is not ordinary trouble." I asked what she meant. She stood and went to her window, looked outside for a long while, then turned back. "I cannot enter that house with you," she said. "Not until I know more." Her voice had changed completely. There was something in it I had never heard from a grown adult in my entire life. Fear. I went back to Mom and Kim 2 days later. She had spent that time thinking, she said, and asking questions she did not explain. She sat me down and spoke slowly, choosing each word with care. "There is a spirit," she said, "an old one. It feeds on the unborn, not randomly. It needs a way in, a person who opens the door for it." I waited. My hands were cold. This person makes an agreement in exchange for something they want, usually wealth, power, long life. They offer the spirit what it needs. Children, unborn ones. I felt the words land in my chest one by one. The spirit binds itself to that person. Mom and Kim continued. And any woman that person brings close becomes a source. The pregnancies don't just fail. They are taken. I stared at her. "You're saying someone in that house made this agreement?" She did not answer directly. She looked at her hands. "Tell me," she said slowly, "who first brought you into that house?" The question sat in the air between us. Emeka had been at the gate that day. Emeka had opened his arms and said, "Welcome home." But it was Ngozi who called me. Ngozi who said, "Come and stay with us." My sister. I did not want to believe it. I went home and told myself Mom and Kim was an old woman with old fears, that there were explanations for everything I had seen, that the shape in the corner was tiredness, that the voice in the hospital was my own mind breaking under grief. I told myself these things very loudly inside my head. Then I went to Emeka. I asked him plainly. I told him what Mom and Kim said about spirits and agreements and unborn children being taken. His face changed. Not with guilt, with anger. "You went to that woman," he said, his voice tight and controlled. "You told her about our business?" "Answer me," I said. "There is nothing to answer," he snapped. "You are stressed. You are grieving. You are imagining things." And then Ngozi appeared in the doorway. I had not heard her come in. She had been listening, and instead of looking shocked or confused, she stepped fully into the room and said, calmly, without hesitation, "Amara, leave this alone." I looked at my sister, my older sister, the one who taught me to plait hair, the one who held my hand at our mother's funeral. "Some things," she said, her eyes steady on mine, "must be sacrificed." My blood went cold. The 4th pregnancy. I had tried to hide completely. A different clinic, a different name at the front desk, a different route home. I thought that if the spirit could not find me, it could not take what was mine. I was wrong. The dream returned on the 9th week. Same dark field, same cold, but this time the shadow was not coming toward me. It was already there, standing beside me, like it had been waiting all along. It reached out, and I looked down, and there was a baby in my arms, one I did not know I was holding. Tiny, eyes closed, peaceful. The shadow took the baby without hurrying, without cruelty, with the calm of something that believed completely in its right to do what it was doing. And then it spoke, not in a language I knew, but I understood the way you understand things in a dream, where meaning arrives without words. "You cannot stop what was agreed." I woke up. I knew before I even moved. Who agreed? I said to the empty room, my voice ragged. Who gave you that right? The room gave no answer, only silence, and somewhere in the walls, the faint sound of something satisfied. Mom and Kim gave me a small pouch of gray powder. She told me to spread it at the entrance of my room, along the windowsill, and under my pillow. She said certain words over it for nearly 20 minutes, eyes closed, lips moving fast and soft. This will hold for a while, she said when she finished. It will confuse it, slow it down. I went home and did exactly as she said. I smoothed the gray powder in every place she told me. I said the words she had written on a torn piece of paper in careful, looping handwriting. Then I waited. That night, I slept fully for the first time in months. No dream, no cold air, no breathing in the corner, just dark, flat, empty sleep that I woke up from feeling almost human again. The second night, same. I started believing it was working. By the third morning, I woke up with a feeling of lightness I had not felt in so long. I actually smiled at myself in the bathroom mirror. Then I looked at the powder along my windowsill. It had changed color overnight. It was black, all of it, every line of it, like something had burned through it from the other side. I could not sleep that night. I lay in the dark listening to the house breathe around me. Then, past midnight, I heard voices, low, urgent, from the room across the hall where Ngozi and Emeka slept. I crept to my door and pressed my ear close. I could hear them arguing in tight, controlled whispers. The kind of argument people have when they do not want to be heard, but cannot stop themselves. Emeka's voice first. She went to Mom and Kim. She knows too much now. Ngozi, she doesn't know everything. Emeka, it's getting closer. The fifth one will seal it. We have to be ready. Ngozi's voice dropped lower, but I caught every word. She's not supposed to survive this long. I pressed my hand over my mouth. My sister, my own sister said those words. She's not supposed to survive this long. I stood there in the dark hallway with my back against the cold wall, and I felt something inside me shift. Not break. Shift. From confusion into something colder and harder. The last piece I had refused to accept had just fallen into place. Ngozi knew. She had always known. And she had not only known, she had planned it. I discovered the fifth pregnancy on a Monday. My hand was steady when I looked at the test. My face was dry. I had moved past shock. Something in me had gone quiet and alert, like an animal that understands the danger it is in and stops making noise. I went to Mama and Kim that same afternoon. She took one look at me and knew. She did not ask. She closed the door and sat me down. I'm pregnant again, I said. She nodded slowly. She was quiet for a long time. This one feels different, I continued. Stronger, like it's holding on harder than the others. Mom and Kim folded her hands in her lap. When she looked up, her eyes were serious in a way that made the room feel smaller. A fifth pregnancy will not be treated like the others, she said quietly. This will trigger the final stage of the agreement. They will not wait this time. They will move quickly. I asked her what that meant. She stood and went to her shelf, her back to me. It means the spirit will not just want the child this time. The house temperature dropped, not slowly, all at once, like a door had opened somewhere I could not see. Mom and Kim told me the truth about Emeka that evening as the sky outside her small window went dark. Years before Ngozi married him, before any of us knew his name, Emeka had gone looking for power, not the ordinary kind. He had grown up poor, humiliated, passed over. He wanted a life where no one could look down on him ever again. He had found people who offered him a path, an agreement, wealth, influence, a name that opened doors. In return, the spirit that granted these things required payment. Unborn children, not just any. Children carried by women who came through him, women who trusted him, women close enough to be considered inside his circle. The spirit fed on them one by one, growing stronger with each taking. I had walked into that house and become the next source. He chose you deliberately? I asked. No, Mom and Kim said. She hesitated. Or not exactly. What does that mean? She looked at me with deep, careful eyes. Emeka is not the one who chooses the women. she said slowly. He provides the home, the access, the closeness, but the decision of who enters that home, who is made vulnerable. She stopped. I already knew. My throat closed around the name before I said it. Ngozi. I went home and confronted my sister. Emeka was not there. I had waited until I heard his car leave. Then I walked into the kitchen where Ngozi stood over the stove, her back to me. I know, I said. She did not turn around immediately. She kept stirring. I know it was you. I said, I know you were the one who chose me, who brought me into this house on purpose. The stirring stopped. Ngozi put down the spoon. She turned slowly. Her face had gone still. Too still. And then she laughed. Not a happy laugh. Not a nervous one. A laugh that cracked open and showed what was underneath. Then she stopped as suddenly as she had started, and she began to cry. The crying was real. I could see it was real. That is what made it so frightening. I couldn't have children, she said, her voice breaking. Do you know what that feels like? To be told you will never carry life. I stared at her. I introduced you to him, she said. I told him to call me. I made sure you had nowhere else to go. My legs went weak. You were never just visiting, Ngozi whispered. My sister looked at me across the kitchen and said everything I had been afraid was true. She had known about Emeka's agreement before she married him. She had entered it willingly, in exchange for a home, security, and protection from a spirit's reach. She had agreed to provide what the spirit needed. Women who carried Emeka's children. She could not have children herself. The agreement had taken that, a price she had not fully understood when she accepted. So she became the one who delivered others. I thought you could handle it, she said, her voice hollow. I thought after the first loss, you would leave on your own. But I didn't. No, she said quietly. You stayed, and you kept getting pregnant. And I thought, she stopped. You thought the spirit would take the babies and leave me alone. I said. She said nothing. That was her answer. Ngozi, I could barely speak. You offered me as a sacrifice. She looked at the floor. You are my sister, I said. She lifted her eyes. And behind all the shame, behind the tears, was something I had not expected. Relief. Like she had been carrying this too long, and was glad it was finally out. Yes, she said. You were never a victim, Amara. You were the offering. That night, the house changed. I felt it from my room. The air pressure shifted. The lights dimmed without any power cut. From the hallway came a low sound that I felt more in my chest than heard with my ears, like the deepest note of a song with no melody. Ngozi and Emeka were in their room. I pressed my back to my wall and listened. Their voices were not arguing anymore. They were performing something, reciting, rhythmic, back and forth between the two of them. The same lines repeated, rising in speed. I knew what night this was. The 5th pregnancy. The final stage. Mom and Kim had warned me. The temperature in the house fell so sharply I could see my own breath in the dark of my room. Then, from under the door of their room, light bled out. Not electric light. Something older. Something orange and shifting. Like fire that had no heat. The reciting stopped. And in the silence that followed, I heard a sound that is impossible to describe properly. Like the world tearing very slightly at one of its seams. Then a voice I had heard once before in a hospital ward, low and certain. Bring her. Footsteps began moving toward my door. Not one set. 2. I had already moved away from the wall. Mom and Kim had given me a final instruction weeks ago. She pressed a small bottle of black oil into my hand and said words I memorized completely, though I had hoped never to need them. If you are the intended offering, you do not run. Running pulls the current toward you. You turn, you face it, and you offer it back. The door swung open. Emeka and Ngozi stood there. Their faces were not entirely their own. Something else looked at me through their eyes. Calm, ancient, certain. Behind them, filling the hallway from ceiling to floor, was the shadow. Fully present, fully formed. The breathing thing from my corners and dreams was now completely here. I did not run. I uncapped the bottle. I smeared black oil across my forehead and both palms. I spoke Mom and Kim's words. Every one. Clear. Steady. The shadow stopped. Something in the room shifted. Like a calculation being corrected. The The spirit had come for an innocent, but Mama and Kem had told me its weakness. It could not take a woman who understood the full truth of the agreement. Knowledge broke the contract. I held out my palms. I named everything, every act, every betrayal. The spirit turned away from me. It turned toward Ngozi. She saw it happen. She watched the moment the spirit's attention shifted. Her face cracked open. "No," she said. Her voice went small. "No, that's not right. We agreed, Emeka tell it." But Emeka had pressed himself against the wall, his face empty with the kind of fear that hollows a person out. The spirit moved toward Ngozi the way smoke moves, slowly filling the space between them. She screamed my name. She held out her hands toward me. I did not move. Not cruelty. Understanding. This had always been coming for the one who built everything on someone else's suffering. The spirit took her. Not her life, but everything she had built it on. The agreement, the safety she had purchased at my expense. It unraveled from her instantly. She crumpled to the floor, shaking. Emeka. Lost everything after that. His business, his name, his health. The agreement collapsed, and its gifts were pulled back like a tide going out. I walked out at sunrise. Months later, a nurse placed a baby in my arms. Alive, breathing, real. I held him and cried freely. "You made it," I whispered. Some betrayals opened doors that should never be opened.